Hello, my name is Joey Morgan, and I play the Seventh Doctor in Doctor Who Transit. Transit is such an interesting story for the Doctor in particular. In the original novel, Aaronovitch writes this really... it's a very grand look at the Doctor and his relationship with humans and how humanity is continually evolving around him, and he really can't do anything to stop it. That humanity will eventually almost come up with a response to the Doctor, and that is what Kadiatu is meant to represent within this story. And so it makes for some really interesting conversations between the Doctor and Kadiatu. I love some of the things they have to say when they're just like walking around the transit system, and the Doctor's just like casually commenting on her like accelerated speed or metabolism, and Kadiatu says, "Oh, it's just something I've always been able to do." And like, you know, we know in the story Kadiatu is like is genetically enhanced, but Kadiatu, it also represents that humanity is evolving in different ways that the Doctor almost can't predict. The Seventh Doctor in particular is this master manipulator, but there are some things even he can't predict or stop for that matter.
Hi, I'm Quinn, and I play Kadiatu in Transit. So the way I initially approached her was, I just looked at the cover, because that's her, and she looks really cool, and like a boss. So I tried to channel that sort of energy when I was playing her, and then obviously she has like quite a few vulnerable moments as well, so it was really nice to like colour the initial badassery and make her more three-dimensional. So it was an absolute pleasure to be able to voice this character and work with such an incredible team.
I also got to play another role in this one, but I don't know if I want to say what it is, or if anyone like recognized what it was, or even if it was me when that character popped up. So that character's gonna pop up again, so I won't say who it is for the sake of this behind the scenes video, but he's there, and I'm very excited to get my hands on him again when we do that particular book.
My name is Jacob Licklider, and I adapted Transit for audio. Transit is one of those books that is controversial, to say the least. It's really the first VNA that uses the word fuck, which happens more often than readers are perhaps expecting. And in adapting it, I actually didn't want to change things. When I first read Transit, I actually didn't like it. But then going on reread around the time to adapt this, my opinions changed, and I kind of realized that Ben Aaronovitch had crafted this really interesting and fascinating world of sort of futurism and sort of how corporations will take over. Now, it's very 90s and you know, a reflection of the 90s in that aspect. And in adapting it, we wanted to keep that aspect, that sort of 90s aesthetic, that 90s cyberpunk aesthetic. This is Doctor Who does cyberpunk in a variety of ways. And, you know, very little of the original source material actually got cut out. There's still the disturbing imagery, still the darkness, still all of the stuff. Honestly, the hardest part was really finding a voice for Benny, because one of the big flaws in the book is that Bernie Summerfield sadly isn't used very well. She's taken over very early on, and we knew that this was going to be the first story we did with Benny, so we wanted something where Benny could become front and center. And interestingly enough, Joey came in and during the script editing process and decided to add that first little pre-credit scene at the beginning of part one, which I think was just brilliant and sort of a capstone on anything I could have done to make this better. It's such a great little scene that you know will drag you in and you will enjoy yourself. Aaronovitch is such a fascinating writer, and he's always fun to adapt. This was one that could happen very quickly, because things keep moving, despite the fact that the book's only 10 chapters. Each chapter's really long, so, you know, we just had to try to break that down and make it nice. And, you know, if I've made one mistake, maybe it was leaving it as making it 4 parts instead of 3. It could have been nice 3 parts, because, you know, we ended up in editing finding out that, oh, the script's actually kind of underran a little bit. Not by much, but just by a little bit. A little less little shorter than we're used to. But yeah, this production just means a lot, because it means that we are at the first point where Bernice is a companion. We introduced Kadiatu Lethbridge-Stewart, who was one of those breakout supporting roles who, will pop up here and there in the VNAs. And we're basically past the point where the VNAs really have started, and we can get into the really interesting stuff.
Editing this one was a ton of fun. We had a ton of new people on board for this project, between Quinn, Kai, Alex, Ace, and so many new people in this project that just added such a new flavor to the adaptations. And I'm so excited to keep working on projects with these people. Some of them are even transitioning over into our next project, which is fantastic. I have many roles in mind for these new people as we get into future adaptations, because we have some extensive casts to put together, and I'm so excited to have a ton of new people on board for the projects from this point. So yeah, should be a ton of fun.
Hello, my name is Ace Foreman, and I am the actress who voices Blondie in Doctor Who Transit. Funnily enough, I got introduced to the novel adaptations through Brian Corrigan, who voices Dogface in Transit. Because he voices the 8th and 6th Doctors in a project of mine. And we were on the Discord server one day along with a couple of the other actors and actresses who are part of the project, and we were all having a conversation. And I don't remember the context or any of the details about the conversation, but at some point Brian mentioned the novel adaptations and how his friends, some friends of his, did adaptations of the Virgin New Adventure novels. And my curiosity was piqued, so I looked them up, and I was absolutely blown away. The first thing I listened to was the adaptation of Time of Your Life, which features my favorite Doctor, and I was like, wow, oh my god, these are really good. So when I saw that auditions were being held for Transit on Twitter, I immediately jumped at it and auditioned for, I think, Fred and Blondie, and I was very sure I wasn't going to get the roles, or any roles at all, but one day I was in the car going somewhere, but where I was going isn't important, and I got the email saying I had been cast as Blondie, and I was really excited and really happy, for good reason too, because this is probably the most fun I've had on a project, with like voicing a character or anything like that, because normally I voice like the really timid and really shy characters, or the maniacal villain, muhahaha, and other things. But Blondie's very much a normal guy who's been kind of thrown into this odd situation with the Doctor and Kadiatu, and he's a bit more, I guess, complex is the word, because the way I interpreted his character is that he kind of has a fake confidence about him. Like, he's like the way he talks kind of comes off as if he's like faking confidence, when deep down he's either not as confident as he tries to make himself seem, or he's really scared. Like the scene with the aircraft, when he's like, I haven't been in an aircraft before, and he's like, is she really blind? Because he's so scared in this moment. He's never been on something like that. He's never had to experience something like the current situation. So I figured that he was probably like really scared deep down, and I hope that came through in my performance. But yeah, it was really fun to voice Blondie, or Zach as is his real name. Zach, the name that I never got to say in in the actual story, funnily enough, even though that's my character's name. But I actually got to do some things that I have never gotten to do in a voiceover role before, like a death scene. Blondie's death scene was really fun to do because I've never done it. Never done one, it's not like anything like that. Normally I just play a character who lasts until the end and doesn't really have a death scene. But Blondie actually dies in this story. So it was really interesting to actually get to like do a death scene. And I was really looking forward to it because, like I said, it's something I've never done before. On top of how fun it was to voice Blondie, it was also really nice to talk to and interact with everyone who's part of the novel adaptation. Everyone's really nice and awesome and understanding. I wasn't able to get my lines in for a while because of mental health reasons, and I was busy with school. And everyone was really understanding, and I was able to get them in a bit later. I just actually finished with my last few lines right now, and I figured that I'd record this right afterwards. So yeah, and it was really, really awesome to like be able to like talk to other people who are big fans of Doctor Who, bigger than me, which really like motivated me to like jump farther into the deep end of Doctor Who media and lore. And everybody's like I said, super nice. My name changed partway through. It was originally Gwen, and it changed to Ace because I'm trans, and gender fluidity kind of tends to sometimes do that, and I'm still in the process of picking names, and I was immediately asked if I wanted my name changed on the cover and in the credits, and that was really, really cool, and I really appreciated that. Yes, I'm also saying this so that anyone who listens to this can hear me say thank you for that. But yeah, if I'm lucky, hopefully I get to be in another one, because like I said, this is the most fun I've ever had on a voiceover project. So yeah, I would love to be in another one if I'm needed. But yeah, that's the end of my behind the scenes. This is a super awkward way to end it by saying that this is the end of my behind the scenes, but I'm a very awkward person, so yeah.
And yeah, I think that's about it. That was Transit. I had a ton of fun putting it together. It's certainly a unique Doctor Who novel, although it's certainly not a typically well-liked one, but it's one that I'm a fan of, at least. And honestly, I think we did an okay job with the adaptation. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very proud of the work that we put together on this one. I'm very proud of everyone involved in it, and honestly, I'm really excited to see where we go from this point. So yeah, thank you all for checking in with us once again, for listening to our projects and continually supporting everything that we do here at Security Kitchen Productions. So I think that about does it. Thank you all so much for listening. I'll see you all next time in another adaptation.